Hi, Alon, the international cruiser here. And these days, many cruise ships from various companies are leaving cold Europe in favor of the Caribbean sun. This means there are several opportunities to book a transatlantic cruise as an alternative to flying. And since in recent years, cruise lines have started to price last-minute deals aggressively, which I think is a mistake, but that's a topic for another video, you can go on a long cruise with visits to unique ports that you're very unlikely to visit otherwise, and the price is much less than a flight from Europe to the United States. So, if you have the time, you can enjoy the journey and start your visit to the US with a pampering cruise at a nightly rate that's less than the cost of breakfast at your average neighborhood cafe. Considering that your cruise includes accommodation, entertainment, full board meals, visits to various unique ports, and at least the savings of a one-way flight ticket, this is a deal that's hard to beat in terms of value. In fact, staying at home will probably cost you more. So if you want to visit the United States and a long vacation isn't an issue for you, you can extend your trip, say, from 2 weeks in the US to a month or more, and even save money and not a small amount. For example, if we look at the NCL website, we can see an ocean view cabin on the route for $200 per person. True, you'll need to add port taxes, but even if you add the More at Sea package, which includes unlimited alcohol throughout the cruise, specialty dining, and a 150-minute internet package per guest, you'll still end up with a price that's not different from a flight ticket to the US, a little over $1,000 per person. And if you choose to go without the extras, the price will go up by another $200 per person. So, in fact, a couple can go on this cruise for the price of a single flight ticket. Just so you understand, this is a 10-night cruise starting in Lisbon in about 2 weeks, but these prices have already been available for some time. For example, the next cruise departs today, so it's not relevant, but the one listed after it leaves from Barcelona in 3 weeks, so there's definitely enough time to get organized. It's a 15-night cruise and the price starts at $420 per person in a double room. For this cruise, there are still plenty of rooms and different cabin types available for booking. The next cruise listed departs from Lisbon a few days earlier. It's also a 15-night cruise and is slightly more expensive, but still costs less than a plane ticket. And for those looking for a larger ship, the Breakaway will also make the journey from Barcelona to New York at a similar price per person. So what can we conclude from all this? First of all, especially for transatlantic cruises, taking advantage of last-minute prices can definitely lead to significant savings. Prices drop as the cruise date approaches, and you don't necessarily have to wait until just a week or two before departure. The prices weren't any different even a month or a month and a half earlier. But if you wanted to book these cruises in advance, you would have paid, and a lot more. For example, more or less the same cruise with the Epic. If you book now for next year, it costs 4 times as much, and the best itineraries, or those with the bigger and newer ships, will cost you much more. Even if the nightly rate now seems attractive compared to the price of round-trip cruises, it's still more expensive than last-minute deals. And I have 2 more important tips. One about the way back. Yes, you can also do that by cruise for less than the price of a flight ticket. And another about planning and making a last-minute booking without the usual drawbacks. So stay with me until the end of the video to learn about these topics as well. And if you feel you've already learned something new, I'd appreciate it if you could like the video. It helps promote the channel. And if you don't want to miss more great tips and tricks, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. A last-minute transatlantic. It's true that booking at the last minute isn't necessarily convenient for everyone, and spending weeks at sea doesn't suit everyone either, but for those who want to go on a long vacation, combine rest and relaxation with visits to attractive destinations, and do all this cheaply, you simply can't find a better deal. As for last-minute bookings, it's true that this year there isn't much you can do about it, but the situation isn't likely to change next year or any year after that. Therefore, with proper planning, you can take advantage of the knowledge about last-minute prices and plan an attractive vacation in advance, while postponing the actual booking of the cruise itself until the last minute. As long as you are flexible with your dates, and if you're planning a vacation of a month to a month and a half, you're probably flexible, then, as you can see within that same month, give or take, you can make the same trip from Europe to the United States on similar dates but with different ships. So there's no reason you can't score a deal at a nightly rate equivalent to the price of breakfast at the cafe downstairs from your home. And again, that's if you're flexible. Another drawback is that in any case, you'll probably need to fly to the port where the cruise departs from. However, this flight is significantly cheaper than a flight to the United States, and it's also much shorter. So for those who have difficulty with long flights, this could actually be an advantage rather than a disadvantage. And how do you get back, since this is a one-way cruise? So first of all, of course, the expectation is that at the end of the cruise, you will enjoy your visit to the United States, and of course you can return by flight, so you've saved yourself a one-way flight. In addition, you can also make the return journey by cruise, since Cunard operates a regular transatlantic cruise in both directions throughout the year. While the cost is somewhat higher than last-minute cruise prices, again, if you have the time, it will still cost less than the flight itself, and you still get to enjoy a week-long cruise, with everything a cruise includes, from the food to the entertainment to the indulgence of a luxurious vacation on a premium ship. So, what do you think? Is a transatlantic cruise something you would consider taking yourself in the future? Have you already tried such a cruise as an alternative to flying? And did you do it at the last minute? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. And if you want to keep going from here, you can click on one of the following videos to learn more tricks and get more tips that will help you plan your next cruise. I'll see you in the next video.